Welcome to First Watch, the show that's part review, part reaction. I'm Will.
I'm Mike.
It's Mike. Today we're talking about Silent Rage, starring Chuck Norris. This is the Mill Creek Blu-ray release, which has the VHS slipcover, which is pretty fucking cool if you grew up in the VHS era. It's got like the fake video store stickers on it and stuff. Both of us did. It's true. I had never seen this movie before, and I don't think Mike had ever seen this movie before. And we've seen a lot of Chuck Norris movies. We watch movies every Friday night. It's mostly 80s and 90s stuff, and it's mostly like action martial arts type stuff. So we've watched a lot of Chuck Norris's movies. Have not seen this one before. This stars, in addition to Chuck Norris, Ron Silver is in it, Stephen Furst, Toni Callum, is that her name? Callum, who was in The Sopranos. So you might recognize her if you watch this movie. And I just kind of like my immediate take on this movie is like if you were to sit down with your friends with a bunch of beer or popcorn or whatever your thing is that you do when you watch movies to watch like a super entertaining, over-the-top, ridiculous, like Grindhouse-y type movie, this is like everything that you would want in a nutshell. Yeah. It's like martial arts, it's a buddy cop movie, it's a horror movie, it's like a Reanimator type thing. Yeah, it's got like a weird, there's like a romance thing with Chuck Norris, and it's just like, it's like everything that you would want in like kind of a silly movie happening at the same time. There's a biker gang.
It's a biker gang that has nothing to do with the plot.
Nothing! But it gives the sidekick something to do. Charlie, right? So Chuck Norris has this partner named Charlie, who's played by Stephen Furst, who's this kind of like bumbling, like he's like a nice guy, but he's not like a particularly good cop.
He's horrible cop. He even mentions to Chuck Norris, like, I don't think I should be a cop.
So then yeah.
And Chuck Norris just like, he's like, nah, don't worry about it. You're good.
You're fine, yeah. But then in the end, it turns out he's not that good at it. No spoilers, but this movie is often referred to as Chuck Norris versus Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Because the central kind of, he's not really like the antagonist. He's like the.
It's like a force of nature, I guess, which is like what they say about Michael Myers and like a lot of the Jasons and those type of people. It's not that they're inherently evil. It's like a force of nature, and all they know how to do is kill. And so, like, in this movie, he's just some guy who...
He has PTSD, right?
He's got something, because in the beginning, he wakes up and he just...
Taking medication.
And he just starts murdering people. And then,
and he's under, like, psychiatric evaluation at the time. Yeah, so the character Ron Silver plays is his doctor.
And he gets... it's like he's killed by Chuck Norris and the other cops, and then he's taken to, like, a lab. For some reason, he's taken to a lab and not, like, a police station or morgue or anything, taking some lab.
Well, I think the lab is in the hospital, but it's like a behind the scenes, like illegal lab, like military type thing.
They inject him with stuff, and it like makes him heal, kind of like Wolverine, and he comes back to life. And they even show him them like cutting him, and like instantly heals, and he becomes just this like beast who just goes around fucking everybody up. And like you shoot him, and he heals. He falls out of a third-story window, and he heals.
And a woman who's like an administrator in the hospital is the sister of one of the doctors involved in the thing, and also Chuck Norris's ex-girlfriend. So it's like all this, and he hasn't seen her. It's like this really small town, but he hasn't seen her in a while.
6 years. It's like right, and then they haven't seen each other for 6 years.
Is it really 6 years?
Yeah, she says something about 6 years, and then the very first time they see her, he kind of like looks at her, and she's like, "No, we're not getting together." And then he cuts to them.
No, but then he starts rubbing her.
Yeah, he like starts staring at her.
He's in her car, and he's like in the passenger seat, and he's like stroking her,
like, staring at her, and then it cuts to them having sex for a bunch of times for no reason.
It's so good,
and then they're together. And then there's another scene later where she's like, you know what? We had like we messed up when we had sex. I really don't think this relationship can continue. And he's like, well, okay. She's like, that's it? You're not gonna fight for it? And I'm like, what's going on? And there's a buddy cop. Tell him about the bar scene where
yeah. So Chuck Norris and Charlie are driving on the road in their pickup truck, and they have previously chased this biker gang out of a diner, and they see the motorcycles outside of this bar. So Chuck Norris does like a U-turn. They pull into the bar, and does Charlie even go in? He stays in the truck. He goes in.
He does go in because she.
Oh, right. Yeah. There's a woman who exposes herself. There's this like, like evil biker woman or whatever, and she like opens her shirt to Charlie, and he's like,
He's a cop on duty. He's trying to grab the titties.
Leaning in. And so Chuck Norris makes him go wait in the car like a little kid.
Well, no, he says call for backup. And instead of call for backup, he calls like his friend. And he's telling his friend about, they're the best boobs I've ever seen. I think I'm in love and want to marry her. And meanwhile, the whole biker gang's attacking Chuck Norris inside. And he's just beating them up.
And he whoops the shit out of all of them.
But there's no backup or nothing. Charlie just talks to his friend about
so
the
it's
titties.
like it really is like this like 80s buddy cop movie. It's a slasher movie. There's like the kind of like exploitative like 80s sex stuff. It was billed as Chuck Norris's first thriller.
Yeah.
Because he'd previously mostly been in like action and martial arts type movies.
I liked it though.
It's insanely entertaining, and like every like 3 minutes, there's a thing where you like turn to the person you're watching it with because you're like, what's happening? Like, it's so ridiculous, you can't believe it. But some of the suspense scenes, and like no spoilers here, but there's that scene where that couple is like, they're like ordering pizza or something, and the guy breaks into their house. It's really well done, and it's like creepy and like, but there's a lot of like, it's very obviously influenced by Halloween. Like Halloween has a lot of that like handheld camera stuff and like POV from Michael Myers, and like this does similar stuff.
It's basically, like you said, it's a mismatch of genres and movies. There's a lot of Reanimator in there where he's basically reanimated.
Although, when did Reanimator come out?
Reanimator came out in 85.
Because I think this was 82.
Yeah, well, and then a lot of Frankenstein, obviously, a lot of...
Well, all those movies are Frankenstein, right? Yeah.
A lot of, like you said, Halloween and that kind of stuff. But, you know, don't take it too seriously and you'll have a good time.
It's really, 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 really fun. So if you're watching on YouTube, we'll have links in the description of where you can go and find this edition and watch trailers and other information about the movie. If you're on Facebook, we'll put a comment below the video. And then if you're on Instagram, we'll tag Mill Creek, the company that made this, and like anywhere else that you might want to go and check out if you dig this movie. So highly recommended by me. Yeah. Like I really, truly had never seen this before.
Me neither.
And really, really, really liked it.
It's something very different. If you're a Chuck Norris fan, it's something very different.
Yeah, it's not at all like Missing in Action or like even Invasion USA or like Delta Force. Like it's like nothing like that.
You'll have a good time with it. Just have some popcorn, have a beer. You'll enjoy yourself.
Check it out.